I think animation is my favorite medium of content. Did you ever imagine when you guys made it that it would like catch on at all, or
no?
No.
Can I tell you an Easter egg that we didn't put in that didn't end up in the movie? But
Yeah. Oh, I love the callback.
I love that.
wait a minute, Bernie.
Oh, wow.
Do you still have that Winnie the Pooh? And he was like, I sure do. I don't do a lot of. I hate admitting this.
No. I had zero idea that you actually did the voice of the bowler hat.
I did what we call the scratch voice for the character. The rest is history.
Could you do the voice?
That's like the pinnacle awesome story.
Hey,
Insiders!
That's
That's
so fun.
amazing. Welcome back to the Totally Awesome Show. We have a totally awesome guest.
Yes.
Now, something you guys should know. We have our very first repeat guest on the show. That's
Now,
the good news.
Not that you guys would know, because we may have made a rookie mistake and forgotten to hit record on the microphones.
A big thank you to Steve, who's back for his
Yes.
second interview,
So-
second part of the Totally Awesome Show.
Everybody, welcome Steve Anderson.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Give
Thank
a
you all.
applause.
He is amazing. If you don't know much about Steve, he is a animator with the Walt Disney Company. He has been the director of the 2011 Winnie the Pooh, one of our
literal
favorites.
favorite
And
movies.
another one of our favorites, Meet the Robinsons
Yes.
as well.
And
he's just worked on like just so many incredible Disney movies.
Emperor's New Groove. That's a big one
Always,
for us.
always a big one that we're going to talk about.
Our favorite.
And then lots in between, right? Like Tangled and Frozen. You've kind of contributed to so many amazing stories just in different ways, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's so
Little
cool.
bits and pieces here and there.
This is
love it.
an awesome story about somebody who tells awesome stories. So, I mean, how cool is
Like
that?
Yeah.
that's like the pinnacle awesome story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. It's
Yeah,
great to be here.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Again.
Again.
Oh man.
Okay, so we should jump right in. I think Emperor's New Groove is
I was about to say, so something we definitely want the people to hear, and something that we've always wondered is like Emperor's New Groove. We know was not the way that it maybe was going to be when it was pitched, right?
Right.
They kind of changed the story quickly, and you guys had to kind of quickly develop characters and jump ship and kind of just, I don't know, you know more. So,
And I also don't know how real it was or how true it was, but I remember that like reading somewhere that like Emperor's New Groove almost like when the movie was over, they didn't have there wasn't a final script.
Yeah.
And I don't know how accurate that is, but I do remember reading it somewhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I figured now is the time to ask.
Yeah. Well, I'll start with that one first. That
Okay.
question first about. So there's this. Yeah, a couple years ago, one of the anniversaries, there was a big article that came out, and our writer, Dave Reynolds, is quoted in saying, ultimately, there really was not a script for Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
And that's true. It doesn't mean that he didn't write script pages.
Right.
It just meant there was never any time for him to write a complete draft, because once the movie made the transition from its former life, Kingdom of the Sun, that was the movie it was going to be, and then it turned into Emperor's New Groove. We had 2 years from start to finish to develop the story, execute it, animate it, everything for release, because they didn't change the release date when they changed the movie concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when Kingdom of the Sun was going to release, and they said, "Well, you got the same amount of time, or you've got whatever's left, basically."
Yeah.
To
The
finish the
same
movie.
day.
To redo the whole
To
movie.
redo the whole movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's why like our writer was writing, the storyboard artists were writing and boarding, and then he was rewriting us, and it was very much a back and forth, really collaborative process. Again, he wrote script pages, but he never wrote a draft.
Right, that makes sense.
Because we're moving so fast.
Yeah. Some stories, I guess, get pitched maybe with like a screenplay or like kind of a completed project that they show up with.
Yeah.
So was there one of those maybe for Island or Kingdom of the Sun that kind of existed as it was like going along?
Yes, as far as I know. I was on Tarzan for most of Kingdom of the Sun, so I don't know too much about that origin of the kind of inner workings of that development process.
Yeah.
But they certainly had a writer, and I'm sure there was a draft of the script that was written.
Yeah.
Because that had more of a traditional development
That makes
life at
sense.
Disney, where
Right.
it was pitched. It was just a notion of an idea. They would write a script. They would start doing visual development stuff. Then it would be boarded. It was sort of following the typical path of these movies.
I think that's part of what makes the movie so good, though, is that it didn't follow the traditional path. I think it has this charm about it where it's like just so fun, right? And you can see how much joy went into making that movie because there's so much like joy that comes through on the screen as well when you're watching it. And I think like when you're making a project and you're having fun behind the scenes, or you're working within different parameters, right? So maybe it wasn't always fun, but you like we're on a time crunch. You're like, all right, so we just have to make this work. I think it gave a charm to the movie.
Totally, I think I agree. Oftentimes, we like to think we don't want any parameters, but I think creative people, or really ultimately anything that we're doing, I think human nature is you kind of, even if you think you don't want a deadline or you don't want parameters, they're helpful because when you can do anything and it could go on forever, then you're never going to accomplish anything.
That's
right.
so true.
You'll
I do
spend forever looking at that like blank canvas.
Exactly.
Like, I could do anything.
Yeah.
And then you end up doing nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think that's the spirit of the movie of Emperor's New Groove is the way it is because we could not overthink. We could not micromanage. You just sort of had to go with your gut, put something up there. Mark Dindal, the director of Emperor's New Groove, is such a yes and kind of person. So
that's awesome.
He gives you the assignment, you go away and you do whatever he asked of you, but then he wants you to bring more of stuff, back into the room. And he always says, "Oh, that's really cool. I love what you did. And then we can do this and we can do that." And he builds on it.
Yes, and is the best creative energy because you get to build it on top of each other and build onto the world. That's awesome.
It keeps the engine going.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
And like one of the bases of comedy is the unexpected. That's what makes you laugh is you aren't expecting what's coming.
Yeah.
And that's got to be so fun to have an entire movie that basically even the people who were creating it didn't really know it was coming.
Yeah. No, that's such a good point. That's
Yeah.
such a good point. They're like, oh, well, I think it'd be funny if, Yzma and Kronk got there before they did, and we don't know how, right?
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the movie. It's
And
like,
we just shine a light on it. We don't try to explain it. We just
Right.
shine
We're
a
just
light
like-
on the fact that it doesn't make sense.
yeah. Like, I don't know. By all means, it doesn't make sense. Move on.
Even
perfect.
like the unique, like the film role, obviously the first thing we see is the sad llama in the rain, which we love. But you kind of like, he's narrating and then he kind of backs it up, obviously too far to when he was a baby, great story. But even he like reminds you, right? He comes with the marker, and Cusco's like, "Remember, we hate Pacha," and he's like scratches him out. And that I just thought that was really unique and something I guess that Disney rarely did or rarely does even. Making Cusco talk straight to the audience in the movie is just super charming and super fun, and the whole thing must have been a joy to work on.
Yeah, it was super
We
fun.
credit it as like one of the funniest Disney movies just because like every moment of the movie is kind of like geared towards a joke, right? And I think that's part of what makes it, so good. So anyway, it's one of our favorite Disney movies, and like us and our friends, it's like collectively like one of our favorite Disney movies. It's
Right.
so
There are
good.
so many times where we'll be having a normal conversation and somebody will crack an Emperor's New Groove reference.
Oh yeah.
They show up everywhere.
We actually
Everywhere.
once did. It was a game where you could like not repeat or hesitate or whatever. And you're-
Concentration.
And you're going back and forth saying all these different things. And ours was Emperor's New Groove quotes. We literally went for 40 minutes going back and forth.
We were in line for Flight of Passage.
Yeah.
It's a good way to pass the time.
It was.
Yes,
It was a
we
great way
needed
to pass
to.
the time.
Yeah, we literally just did Emperor's New Groove quotes for like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It was so fun. It
Everything
was such
in
a
that
blast.
movie is iconic, and
Did you ever imagine when you guys made it that it would like catch on at all, or
No.
No.
I mean, we knew we were having fun. We knew it was super different for Disney. We knew
Yeah.
that there was great gags and great humor in it.
Mm-hmm.
But we were proud of it. The
Yeah.
studio, it didn't quite get the response we were hoping for.
Yeah, right.
It didn't
Yeah.
quite get didn't get a lot of attention at the box office.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all of us kind of thought, well,
Oh well.
yeah.
we had fun. There goes that one. Nobody will ever remember that again.
Yeah, put it on the shelf.
Fast
kinda
forward
thing.
to today, you're in line at Flight of Passage
Right.
quoting
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
quoting the movie.
It's
yeah,
amazing.
And we're talking about it on a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
many
Everybody
years later.
gets.
Yeah.
Everybody gets.
Something I
awesome.
would love to know though is how early did the llama exist? Was that like Kingdom of the Sun? Was there like a llama element, or was that like a late Emperor's New Groove thing?
It actually was a Kingdom of the Sun aspect to it.
Wow.
So there was a lot. The reason why the movie kind of went down is because the studio kept feeling like there were way too many ingredients in the film, and that the film leadership were just not. They
Like
were
resonating.
not. Yeah, and they weren't really addressing that note, and they weren't trimming things out and kind of simplifying the movie.
Yeah.
At any rate, one of the aspects of the film was there was a Prince and the Pauper kind of angle to it.
Oh, nice.
So there was a llama herder named Pacha, and there was Emperor Cusco, and they looked exactly alike.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
so
And-
llama herder Pacha was voiced by Owen Wilson,
Oh my gosh.
and then David Spade was Cusco.
Wow.
Nice.
So there was the switch of that. The llama herder goes and becomes emperor, and the emperor gets to go to be a llama herder, but not before being changed into a llama by Yzma, because Yzma was still in the movie, and she
Yeah.
wanted to get rid of the emperor so
Yeah.
that she could. She had all sorts of other plans as well. She had other ambitions.
Okay.
But she turned him into a llama.
Wow.
So that was, but in Kingdom, he didn't talk. So that was also a switch that was made for
Interesting.
obvious entertainment reasons.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And groove, because it was fun in Kingdom of the Sun, but it's kind of like you cast David Spade as this character.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And then basically he has 10 minutes of dialogue, and then he goes
then you
away
bottle him
You're-
up and
you're
until
you're
the end,
stuck.
until he
Yeah.
goes back to being a
He
human. again.
turns into another Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Totally. So
Yeah.
that was one thing that
Did
they
the original animation look like Cusco, or did he look a little different?
He was a little. The tone of Kingdom was a bit more, I guess, traditional Disney.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And a little more drama in that version. It was a
Okay.
bigger scale movie. It was like a really kind of grand scale.
I
Yeah.
see.
And as there was humor, but it was not a comedy like Groove is. So
Right,
Yeah.
right,
that
right.
once the tone shifted, that you have to
Yeah,
then
shift the
change all the
animation.
designs as well,
Yeah.
because
Right.
it's got to fit that tone.
That's pretty awesome.
So yeah.
Very cool.
One of our other favorite Disney movies, which was our favorite Disney movie, like when we were kids.
Yeah.
Well,
long time.
long time
That's
ago.
all we can say.
Yeah, long time ago.
You can say
Always
when we
been
were
our favorite.
kids now because we're all in our 20s.
That's true. We
Yeah.
can say
Yeah.
Yeah,
when we were kids.
that's
So that's
legitimate.
true.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can't say that now. But the Winnie the Pooh movie. Oh
Yes.
my gosh. And your version, we loved from the second we saw it. It's
you.
so
Oh, yeah.
entertaining. And it actually, now that we're talking, it carries a similar Emperor's New Groove level kind of comedy to it that is
It
so
does,
charming as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But like we've been Winnie the Pooh fans long before that movie existed as well. So
Cool.
it was cool to see a new iteration of that. But being familiar with the characters when you make a movie like Winnie the Pooh, and you were director of this one as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
what was it like to like work with characters that kind of already existed and have their own personalities and things?
Well, it's super unusual for Disney Animation
Yeah.
Studios because, of course, most of the movies we do are original movies.
Right.
Maybe they're adapted from another source, but
Right.
you're starting from the blank page of the adaptation going,
Yeah.
okay, we got to create a whole world, we got to create characters, we got to create a whole thing
Yeah.
basically from scratch. So for Winnie the Pooh, it was actually weird, number one,
Yeah.
because we had a world that existed, we had characters that existed, not just existed, but they already had voices, they already
Yeah.
had personalities, they've already been brought to life by other animators. So
Yeah.
totally unique for our studio.
Mm-hmm.
But then once we got past, hey, this is kind of weird, this is fantastic because we can just start working. We don't have to do all that blank page stuff. Obviously, there's blank page work of, well, what's going to happen in the movie.
Right.
But you don't have to do all that world building and kind of character
Yeah.
building up front. So we could just start writing, start spitballing, start drawing pictures, start
Yeah.
going, well, what if this happened? What if that happened? What if they all fell in a pit? What if, or what would happen if these two characters got pitted against each other? Because their personalities are so clear
Yeah.
that they just start, like, there's that cliche, it writes itself. Well, it's
Yeah.
almost like you just put them in a situation and you start hearing them respond. So,
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
well, how would Tigger respond to this? Or how would Eeyore respond to this? And you kind of already have the voice
Yeah.
and the characteristics and everything in your head.
100%.
So it almost like skips the first step, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't really have to character develop, but you kind of know who they are going into this,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So
On an industry that focuses so much on world building, to have the world built for you
Yeah,
just kind of
yeah.
gives you
Yeah.
a different kind
Walk
of freedom.
into it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you
Yeah.
have like the locations and you have the
you
characters.
even already have a theme song, right?
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
and like an
Totally.
opening style of like the live action bedroom that like
Yeah.
goes into the animated
Well,
world, right?
Not only that,
So-
you know how each character kind of would interact with each other, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a scene that's Owl and Pooh or, Piglet and Tigger and all these things, they kind of have their dynamics
yeah.
set that you guys got to then kind of play around with
Yep.
in the movie and bring kind of like a little bit of a new light, but then still like these references and ties. We definitely grew up with not only like the early release of Winnie the Pooh, but then we had like the old VHS tapes when they did the TV
Like
show,
Cowboy
Oh,
Pooh.
Cowboy
like Cowboy
Pooh.
Pooh, and
Right.
yeah,
and
like
then
all those.
with Darby, the
Oh,
Disney
my
Junior,
friends, my friends Tigger
Yeah.
Pooh, yeah.
Yeah.
We've watched plenty of iterations, and then even we still watch the many adventures all the time. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
always
Of
such
course,
a
yeah.
iconic.
Can I tell you an Easter egg that we didn't put in that didn't end up in the movie?
It
But
didn't
Yeah.
end up?
Yeah.
Oh no.
this was it references My Friends Tigger and Pooh. I forgot about Darby, and you said Darby.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my
Oh,
gosh,
yeah.
So-
that was my favorite show when I was younger.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
hopefully this won't be offensive.
No,
I
no,
don't think it will be.
No, it's
No, no, we're good.
But so we have that song in the movie Everything Is Honey, where Pooh is like on a honey beach, and then
Oh,
he goes
yeah.
under a honey ocean.
Yeah.
We had a ship that had sunk to the bottom of the honey ocean, and it was the SS Darby.
I love the callback.
I love that though.
That would
was
have
so
been
We
good.
didn't
Oh,
end up
man.
using it, but
Oh man.
Oh, my
that would have
God.
been amazing.
That would have been incredible though.
I would have loved the reference. So I was just freaked out. Like, wait, it's the SS
Yeah.
Darby.
Oh man.
I like
That's
to think
awesome.
that I like when we were kids we would have caught that because
Yes.
we've watched that movie so many times. I know Everything Is Honey by heart, every lyric.
Great.
And so I definitely, if you told me that and I hadn't caught it after that many years, I would have flipped out.
I would have been so bad at myself if I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I would be like, what?
I know. That's awesome.
yeah.
Were there
That's
any
awesome.
Easter eggs that did make it into the movie that you guys kind of put in that maybe referenced
I don't know.
anything,
Maybe like
something personal to you or
Yeah.
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 Yeah, there's one that is impossible to spot, but it's there.
Okay.
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 So you all are familiar with Bernie Mattinson,
Yes.
Disney legend.
Yes.
Passed away 2 years ago, I think, just a few months shy of 70 years with the company.
Wow.
So he still continues to be the longest running Disney employee in history.
That's
Wow.
incredible.
And he's a Disney legend and directed Great Mouse Detective, Mickey's Christmas Carol, story artist, animator, amazing guy.
That's great.
And he also worked on Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree and Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2.
Wow.
And so, since he was still at the studio when we started developing Pooh, we said, well, let's grab Bernie and kind of have him with us on the journey since he worked on those movies. And he also he just exuded Disney.
Yeah.
Out of everything
Yeah.
he did.
That's amazing.
It's amazing when you're working on a project to have somebody like that on
Yeah.
your team. You know, someone that
Yeah.
just like gets it. You know,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And so so fast forward to I was boarding the sequence at the end of the film where Pooh goes to Owl's house and finds Eeyore's bell rope.
yes.
Or Eeyore's tail.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As Owl's bell rope.
Yeah.
And so there's a scene, and so Pooh rings it, and then Owl's bell rings, and Owl comes out and says hello to Pooh. So I had boarded it with a shot of Pooh pulling the bell rope, close on the door. You hear the bell ring, the door opens, Owl comes out. Bernie said, no, you can't do that, you can't do that. If you hear a bell, you have to see it.
Really?
You have to show the audience that bell. And we were kind of like, Bernie,
I'm like, oh,
like they know what a
whatever.
bell is.
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, I did that in Mickey's Christmas Carol. And sure enough, there's a scene in Mickey's Christmas Carol when Donald Duck comes into the counting house to say, Merry Christmas,
Merry
Uncle.
Christmas,
He
yeah.
opens the door, it hits the bell on the top, and you cut to a close-up of the bell. So we were like,
Yeah.
okay, Bernie,
Yeah.
we will use the close-up of the
We
bell.
respect it.
I can
yeah.
see
Did
it in
that.
my head as you're telling me. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, I'm visualizing both movies right now. I
Right.
can
Yeah.
totally see it.
So
Yeah.
we did that, and in the wood grain on the door frame of Owl's house, where you see the bell,
Oh, like the close up
is
of the,
written Bernie on the wood grain.
That's amazing.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
very, very, again, very obscure, but it's there. And if you really look, I think you'll be able to find it.
Wow,
Can I tell
that's
one-
so
Absolutely.
Can I
cute.
tell one more Bernie?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
please.
Easter egg.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, because you were talking about how having people on a project that have such a legacy with the company, and
Yeah.
particularly the characters and the world that you're working on.
Yeah.
So back when they were making Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, the first short,
Yeah.
Wooly Ratherman was the director of that, and he decided we want to have a live action opening for this thing with
Nice.
children, Christopher Robin's bedroom.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he said, we need a stuffed Winnie the Pooh. And so he went to everybody in the animation studio and says, does anybody make stuffed toys or have anybody in their family that makes stuffed toys? And Bernie said, oh, my wife, Sylvia, she makes stuffed toys. And he was like,
Wow.
great. So he went home and he told Sylvia about it. And Sylvia made this beautiful Winnie the Pooh, brought it back to work, I don't know, a couple weeks later,
Yeah.
gave it to Wooly. And Wooly said, oh, I'm so sorry, Bernie. We already got somebody to do it.
Oh, wow.
And so I think maybe they've already shot the live action
Right.
opening and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And he was like, I'm so sorry. So Bernie said, that's okay. Brought the Winnie the Pooh home. His kids played with it when they were little, and then
Oh,
they
yeah.
sort of went in the attic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when we were doing our live action opening, because he told us that story early on in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were starting to plan our live action opening. We went, wait a minute, Bernie,
Oh,
you still have that Winnie the Pooh? And he was like, I sure do.
Oh my gosh.
So he dusted it off, brought it back, and so the Winnie
Wow.
the Pooh that's sitting in our live action opening was the runner
The
up
original.
the runner-up
Bernie.
for the
Oh.
for the original that Bernie's wife at the time made.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That is just
That just makes me
the best
smile.
Story.
That's so cool.
It's pretty darn cool.
That is
Yeah.
like the best story. I love that.
That's so cool.
How
Yeah.
cool that so many years later,
I know.
Yeah,
That
there's
bear
got to put-
finally found a home.
He did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
and
finally
it's
got
in the
his
movie.
15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
There you
got
go.
made his debut on the big screen, and
That is awesome. That is a really sweet story. Thank you for sharing.
Of
That
course,
is
yes,
so cool.
yes.
that's a perfect Easter egg to go with like the close up of his name
Yeah.
where you scratched it in, but then also having like the stuffed doll. That's
Yep.
amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
What-
And it just shows like how much impact one person on set or on a project can
Yeah.
have, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
how awesome is that?
Yeah.
Both to supply the Winnie the Pooh and it does have a little Easter egg. With it. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
And the bell swinging. Don't
Yeah.
forget
Yeah.
that.
Which is iconic. Best part of the movie, in my opinion.
When the bell rings.
Yeah.
He was right. He knew what he was talking about.
Yeah,
Bernie.
no, we did for sure.
Yeah.
So, what is it like? I've always been curious
Yeah.
this question, but what is it like directing an animated film?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like, in one regard, it's similar to a live action, but then I don't know. You're not like do you still cut? Like, are you behind a camera? Like, I don't know. What's the
Yeah.
process like as
Yeah.
a director of animation?
I mean, it's the same for both. You are shepherding a project from, infancy to the final thing,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the premiere, up on the screen. And you are, like I said, you're shepherding that project through every milestone, through every department.
Yeah.
It's your thing.
Wow.
You are that. You are guiding it through its birth and
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's fundamental differences in that. Animation is sort of like you're doing it, first of all, over a longer period of time. Usually
Yeah.
a feature takes somewhere between 3 to 5 years.
yeah,
to
that's
make.
true.
And it's like you're doing it in a 9 to 5 setting in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like you're in an
Oh,
office
right.
and you're in meeting rooms and you're going to people's cubicles and
Yeah.
you're working in a studio every day.
Right,
doing
right.
it. Versus in live action, of course, you're out on a set. You might be in a soundstage, whatever, but you are, on your feet in front of a camera, creating the scenes in the
Yeah.
moment.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a big difference. You
Yeah.
iterate a lot in animation because it takes so long. So you are constantly trying a version and then giving notes to that and then trying another one and trying another one and trying another one.
Yeah.
Live action, you get a few drafts of a script and you go shoot it and you're right there making the decisions. You're
Yeah.
shooting it, you edit what you got, and then it's on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you iterate a lot less in live action than you do
Yeah.
in animation. So I think that to me is sort of the biggest standout thing is that
Yeah.
ability to iterate in animation.
Yeah,
That makes so
kind
much
of
sense.
like the format of how it's done. Because instead of live action, like you show up, you meet the cast and crew, and then you kind of live together for
Yeah.
the 90
Yeah.
days. You're very, very close with them, right? Whereas this one, you're just like show up to the office, and you're like, oh, I need this scene animated, so let me go walk over to this person's office and
Yep.
say, how's it going?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very
and a
cool.
studio
Alright.
like Disney, people are often work there for years and years and years and years.
Oh,
and
yeah.
years too.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you're
yeah.
collaborating with the same people over and over again versus, like you said, on a live action thing. Sometimes there's crossover. You see the same people.
Yeah.
But you're building a team and you're all meeting and you're creating something and then you all go away.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And,
Like, yeah.
And then on this
Very
one, you
different.
get together, you build a movie, and then you're like, let's make another movie. And you build
Like,
another
keep
movie.
going, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's that's so interesting that's like the differences there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I've always been curious because I think animation is my favorite medium of content.
Yeah.
I think you have an ability to just tell such a cool story with animation and the there's more that you get to play with.
Yeah, there's-
right?
there's
you get to bend
elements.
reality a little bit more
Yeah.
in animation than you do in live action. So I'm partial to animation. So I always think
Me
it's
too.
best.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, Kara's the artist in our family. She does all our drawings.
Oh,
She does
great.
everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
she
I
does.
don't think I
Yeah.
knew that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
cool.
Yeah, I do a little bit of
Wonderful.
drawing. Yeah.
Yeah, Kara's
Yes.
our drawing person. So
Nice.
yeah, she loves
She
it.
does some fun ones,
Oh my
like
gosh.
she just like putting characters in different scenarios, right? So she'll
Oh,
try.
neat.
I think the coolest one she did was like Taylor Swift eras. So she took the
Oh, yeah.
album covers that Taylor's made and she assigned Disney princesses to their setting. So
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I took
Did
the
I see that? Maybe I did see that. Well,
Oh, we
sorry,
might have showed
anyways.
you.
We might have
I
showed
just
you.
cut you off.
Oh, you're fine.
No, you're fine. I'm trying to remember. I might have showed you
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
told you about it. I was working on it for like a couple of months,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a long time.
but oh my gosh, it was so fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
the one she just
I'm
recently
so happy
did
with how it came out. It's
Was-
like officially complete, and so I'm like, yay.
Nice.
it was Winnie the Pooh in a graduation gown. Was
Oh
her
yeah,
most
I
recent
did
one.
that
Yeah.
one recently for a friend. Hopefully they have that card by now.
Oh yeah. Not a spoiler.
Yeah.
'cause-
Yeah.
Not a spoiler.
But
Not
if you
that
want.
was fun to do.
Right.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool too. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway. Yeah.
This one I can actually say because I gave the card to someone, but I did the character Sora from Kingdom Hearts graduating, but
Yeah.
in kind of like I pulled a little from High School Musical esque for
Yeah.
it. And had fun with that.
High
Yeah.
School Musical
Nice.
meets graduation meets Kingdom Hearts. So.
Yeah. All
She
of
was
it.
having fun blending the different elements anyways. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's pretty cool.
Are they digital? Do you work digitally or is it
So
traditional?
I do a full drawing on paper with pencils,
Uh-huh.
and then I take a picture of that and I make it prettier
Yeah.
on digitally.
Yeah, like
Gotcha.
iPad, she'll go and like trace what she made, right?
And that,
Am I right?
Pretty much, yeah. And then if I didn't like how some of the lines came out in the original sketch, I'll go through it and I'll fix the lines and I'll give it better colors and just make it a little brighter.
Yeah.
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 Nice.
So it's kind of a hybrid of like on paper and digital. She
I
does
like
a little bit
that.
of both.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Cool.
fun.
Is that like because you
I-
still draw,
yeah,
or you still
I ha-
like make?
For the
Is that
record,
how you do it?
I haven't actually taken any like art classes at all.
She was like, I don't know if this
I
is how I'm
found out
supposed to
my
do it.
flow kind of on my own.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how that tracks with animation or actual art. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of. I hate admitting this.
no,
I don't
you're
do a lot of traditional drawing or analog drawing
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
anymore. There's a thing called, I'm sure you've seen on Instagram, social media every October. There's this thing called Inktober. Have you
Oh,
heard
yeah.
of
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So those I do on paper because that's what you're supposed to do, traditional hand inked things.
Right.
So I do that's probably the only time out of the year that I do
Yeah.
draw on paper. Everything's now is on. I work on Procreate and
Oh, yeah.
Pro,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
which
that's
I
a great
absolutely
program.
love. But for the longest time, I was the lone holdout at Disney as far as storyboarding. I was boarding on paper all the way up to the first Moana.
Wow.
And it
That's
wasn't
so
until
cool.
I worked on Frozen 2 that I went fully digital. But I was working on the iPad
Yeah.
in Procreate.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everybody else at Disney draws in Photoshop.
Oh really?
That's how they do
Wow.
their boards.
Wow.
But my brain is too small for Photoshop. There's way too many buttons and knobs
so
and
hard.
sliders.
Yeah.
and all that
Photoshop
stuff.
I'm personally
overwhelms me,
partial
and I-
to Adobe Fresco on the iPad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
a little more user friendly?
It's a little more user friendly. It's a little more like Procreate,
Uh-huh.
but with Adobe's extra flair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
That's
find
what
it to be
saying.
a nice mix.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
that's
should
awesome.
Check it out.
So, in case you guys didn't know, 2011 Winnie the Pooh was actually the last hand-drawn Disney animated movie or 2D
Yeah.
Disney animated
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's fascinating to me that that you actually ended up working on the last one. I
Yeah.
can't
Weird.
believe it.
Super weird.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I read somewhere that they may be doing something.
Pixar.
Is it
Pixar.
Pixar's
Pixar?
the
Oh, yeah.
cat
Yeah.
from Luca.
I don't
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
if it's a hand painted style or if it's like through Procreate, but I don't know. Either way,
It's probably
yeah.
still pretty
Yeah.
digital, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
well,
But yeah,
in this day and age,
I
what is it?
think
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting that it was like the last one. Did
Yeah.
you know when you were making it, or do you have a
No,
sense that it was going that direction, or?
I mean, they brought 2D back for Princess and the Frog in 2009.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we went on and did Winnie the Pooh in 2011. And I think we all just figured they brought it back. They rebuilt a whole hand-drawn animation division.
Yeah.
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 Or within Disney Animation Studios.
Yeah.
That we were going to keep going because we all love hand-drawn animation.
Yeah.
And sadly,
Yeah, not
It
yet.
just didn't continue.
Not yet. It'll happen.
Not yet.
There's
Yes.
little things like Maui's tattoo
Oh yeah.
Oh.
is done by hand.
Okay.
Nice.
Obviously Once Upon a Studio from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has hand-drawn animation in it. So
Yeah.
there's things like that. And there is a very small group of hand-drawn animators still at Disney that does
Yeah.
these kind of
That do
special
those kind
projects
of.
and
Right.
things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool.
So
It's nice that there's still a
it's
little
there.
bit of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's alive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
That's
That's
good.
That's
good.
good.
Yeah.
That's
Kind of
awesome.
interesting though, because you worked on Meet the Robinsons, which is amazing, but that was like CG animation, right? But it came out before Winnie the Pooh, right?
Correct,
So kind of
yeah.
there was like, I don't know, like a bounce back and forth.
Yeah.
That. What
Where
was
they're
Meet
like
the
trying to
Robinsons like?
decide between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was there a difference between like Meet the Robinsons and Pooh in terms of developing, or was it a lot of sketches still, and then just kind of done computer like CG later?
Yeah, it's still all that development stuff, drawings, sketches, all that stuff is still there. I think for me, Robinsons was a big learning experience because I grew up with hand-drawn animation. That's what
Yeah.
I was taught how to do. That's what I knew. That was the language I spoke. So
Mm-hmm.
suddenly, there's all this stuff that I don't know what it is, and
Yeah,
now
you
I
need
gotta
to
run.
learn.
I gotta run the show, and
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing I think between hand-drawn and computer animation is you can cheat a lot in hand-drawn animation because as long as you can draw it,
yeah.
then you got it.
Yeah.
Like an
Yeah.
animator can be drawing a scene, and if it wasn't called out for previous, but they just decide they're gonna reach off screen and pull in a hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The animator just draws that hammer and it just comes in, and there you go. That's
Yeah.
the model for the hammer now, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
In CG, if somebody didn't design that hammer and build that hammer in the computer and
Right.
texture that hammer,
Yeah.
then you cannot have a hammer in that
Because
scene.
then it doesn't
Oh,
exist.
man.
Right?
It doesn't
The hammer
exist.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I
So-
never even thought about that,
So
but it
it's
makes
that-
so much
It's like
sense.
picking
Yeah.
up a real prop, right?
Yes,
Like you
exactly.
have to have
Right.
the
Yeah.
hammer.
If
Wow.
if the prop person did not buy that hammer for your shoot,
Yeah.
How
the
do you
actor
have a
can't
hammer?
reach off screen and grab it because there's no prop.
Like, it's
Right.
right
It's
here.
exactly that.
Wow.
But you can cheat. You can cheat so much in a good way.
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
bad
Oh,
way.
yeah,
No, in a
yeah.
good way, of
In
course.
hand-drawn animation because it's just all about the animator's ability to draw it. If you can draw it,
Yeah.
then there you go.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
there's so much more kind of upfront work that has to be done in CG for
Right.
that kind of stuff to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the hidden blessings of forgetting to hit record
on the previous.
on the previous episode is that when we filmed that episode, I had zero idea that you actually
Oh.
did the voice of the bowler hat.
I did.
That is
Yeah.
so like, how did that happen? Because
Yeah.
were you like
Bowler hat guy.
like
Bowler hat
yeah,
guy?
yeah, the bowler hat guy.
Yeah.
Of course I know.
Not the hat itself.
Not the hat
Yeah.
itself. The bowler hat guy.
That's Doris.
That's Doris. I know.
Yeah.
I've seen the movie. I love that movie. But the bowler hat guy, I had no idea when we filmed last time that you actually did the voice
Oh, yeah.
of the character. How?
Right.
I mean, that's so iconic.
That's awesome.
That is
Yeah.
so awesome. So, how did that happen?
Well, completely not ever expecting to do it.
Uh-huh.
I did what we call the scratch voice for the character.
Right.
And if you're familiar with animation, I know you guys are, but for your audience,
Yeah.
we in animation you basically workshop the movie in storyboard form before you actually go produce it.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
So we do these storyboard screenings, or we call them story reel screenings, REEL.
Okay.
And when we do those, they're all just for internal purposes.
Right.
And so
Right.
it's all temp. So we add temp music, we add temp sound effects, and we add temp voices. And for
Wow.
the
Yeah.
temp voices, it's just us in the
Yeah,
studio. We
just
just
whoever's
go,
there.
we just go down to the room and do the voice, just
Yeah.
because no one's ever going to see it. It's just to hold a place for
Yeah.
now.
That almost lets you have more fun, right? Though, because there's less pressure, right? You're
Yeah,
just
it's super
Yeah.
fun.
You know.
And a lot of times, if a story artist has kind of basically done the first work on that character, if they pitch it in a certain way, in a certain voice
Uh-huh.
that really sells the character, that story artist is going to do the scratch.
Wow.
Because it's
Nice.
like, well, you were great at that character and you've just created that character basically, so you're going to do it.
Yeah,
At
you-
any rate, sorry.
Oh no, they just have like that voice in their head almost,
Yeah.
where they're like,
I
as they're
know
drawing,
what
they
this
know
character-
what
Yeah,
they're
you're
gonna
hearing
say.
it. A lot of times, yeah, exactly. You're drawing it. You're hearing. Sometimes you're seeing color, what something looks like. Even though it's a black and white drawing, you're seeing what it looks like, what it would look like in color, and what music would go with it, and what
Yeah.
voice, all that stuff.
Because that character is already real to the artist before
Yeah.
it's real to any of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so
Absolutely
true.
see the motion.
So it was that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was directing the scratch for all for the different characters, different people doing the voices.
Uh-huh.
We didn't have anybody for Bowler Hat Guy,
Yeah.
so I just went in there and I did it because I'd seen the story artist pitch
Yeah.
already. I sort of knew what rhythm it had to be, and I knew I knew what to do.
Yeah.
Right?
And then it kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And, I started making a list of people we could cast.
Oh,
by the
yeah.
way. So
Yeah, start
it was
kinda
never
casting.
my intent to
To do the
it.
voice.
Right.
But the studio came to me and said, "We really think that what you're doing is great for the character. That it really works.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
would you consider doing it?"
Wow.
So
All right.
the rest is history.
Could you do the voice? Am I allowed to
Is
ask?
there like a
think you're
Bowler
gonna
Hat
ask
guy?
Okay, like I would love to hear,
I mean-
and I want to try because I've always I feel like he's somebody I
yeah.
can do the Bowler guy. I feel like it. I don't know. I'm gonna try though.
Well, what order should we? Should you do it first?
I
and then
think
I do
Steve
it?
should
I
go
think-
first.
I think
Okay,
I mean, that's
yeah.
just my take.
No, yeah,
I- yeah.
that'll give you something to model.
Yeah.
You go first.
Okay. Let it fester and boil inside of you.
Ooh, I like it. Okay, wait. Let it fester and boil inside of you. I don't know.
I like it.
Thanks.
Pretty good.
Yours is much better.
That's
That's
always
awesome.
the original take. But yeah,
I know that is the actual Bowler hat guy. That is so cool.
that's so cool. That must be a fun process to. I mean, just scratch voice in general, but
Yeah.
then being able to kind of develop this character and then say, "That's just it. That's the voice. Like we don't need to cast. We just need to say." This voice matches perfectly. So,
Yeah.
how often does that happen? Is that like super rare, or has it happened like in different times where they'll just keep the scratch whoever did it?
Well, I mean, the precedent for this kind of thing is there's Chris Sanders from Lilo and Stitch.
Yes.
Who's the voice
Yeah.
of Stitch.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's Brad Bird from The Incredibles, who's the voice of
Yes.
Edna Mode.
Yes.
It happens more often now.
Yeah.
Where and I know there's other. Trying to remember. I know there's some DreamWorks characters where like story
Oh,
artist
yeah.
has ended up doing the production voice or the
Yeah.
director. Oh, I think one of the penguins of Madagascar was the director
Oh,
Nice.
of that
That's so
of that
cool.
movie.
I love
So
That's
it
great.
happens a lot. I think because of the fact that, like you said, it's alive to us.
Right.
as
Yeah,
we're-
you know
as
the
we're creating
characters.
it.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just channel the character,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
that
That's
just becomes
awesome.
Yeah,
the
that's the
voice.
rest
It
is
just
history.
gets,
Yeah.
it just gets
Well,
connected.
And
to
those
those
are
characters.
iconic. I mean, iconic characters. Brad Bird and Edna Mode,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
Stitch. You're talking about Stitch,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we just saw the live action. We loved it. We
We
thought it
did.
was so
We
good.
really liked
Such
the
a
live
good
action.
movie. Yeah, we liked it a lot.
Good.
Yeah, so no, it was good. Of course, the original always will have
Always better.
a special
Sure.
place in our
But
hearts.
That's just
terms
how
of
it goes. I
adaptations,
feel.
not bad.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
the
I
live
liked
act
it.
like they're amazing. Like they're all really good, but then
Yeah.
you're always using the original as a source, right? So I
Yeah.
always, personally stick with the originals, but that doesn't mean I don't love a lot of those movies when
Yeah.
they like as they're recreating them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love a
they're
lot of
really
them.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. That's so cool, though. Thank you for doing the voice.
Of course.
I appreciate it.
Yes, we.
Ever since we failed on the last episode, I'm like, all right, that is a good opportunity for me to ask him to do the
Ask.
voice because
Yeah.
I had no idea when we did the interview last time that
Yeah.
that you did that.
Actually,
So
the really
cool.
funny thing for you guys about that pre-recorded thing is that in it, one of the very big points of it was to celebrate failure
Yes.
and how it can help you move forward.
And you may not believe us, but literally, there's probably 20 minutes at the end of us talking about celebrating failure.
Yeah.
And so let's just give a round of applause for our epic fail of forgetting to hit
Yay.
record.
Yes.
And how ironic that like our episode about failure.
We did not talk about failure in other episodes. The
No.
only episode we talked about failure,
Is
something
when
went
we
so
failed.
horribly wrong that we had to
that we had
redo
to
it.
reshoot. This is the only episode we had to reshoot.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Only one
That's
so
good.
far.
Yes.
Never happened.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, right.
While we're on things that we're talking about that we like, I don't know, were kept from scratch voiceover.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned one of my favorite Disney characters, which is Yzma as a cat.
Mm,
And
yes.
I
Yes.
think I remember you said they used like a scratch for that,
Mm-hmm.
even though they'd recorded with Eartha Kitt and she obviously did the main voice.
Yeah, it's a little known fact, a little tidbit that Yzma
Yeah.
Kitty is not actually
That's
Eartha
interesting.
Kitt.
Wow.
Wow.
So we
It
had
makes sense because they're almost two fully different characters,
Yeah.
right? But yeah.
So we
Yeah.
had a lady that did the Yzma scratch, and she was just somebody in the studio. She was fantastic. She really did a great job
Yes.
channeling Eartha Kitt. But of course, we cast Eartha Kitt. She
Yeah.
came in, she recorded the film. She also recorded Yzma Kitty.
Oh, nice.
But when they pitched it up, because it's sped
Yeah.
up or
Yeah.
pitched up because she's got the squeaky kitty voice.
Uh-huh.
They just felt it wasn't as funny
Yeah.
as the lady who did the scratch.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
her
awesome.
scratch just sounded funnier when it was pitched up
Yeah.
versus Eartha's.
Something about the pitch up.
So they went in and they kept the scratch.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which
Nice.
again shows you how good she was
Oh,
yeah.
doing the scratch, because I don't
Absolutely.
think anybody would.
Oh no, you
Yeah,
wouldn't
no,
notice.
question it.
talented people
No,
are doing that.
not at all.
No, yeah.
That fits the vibe of Emperor's New Groove. It's just like, well, this is funnier, so
Yeah.
we're gonna keep it this way. Which
Yep.
that just feels like the whole vision for the movie. So that's a great thing that they kept. That's
Pretty
fun.
much.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
On no basis, I'm just gonna say it was the laugh because that laugh is still stuck in my head. Like we're talking about it,
Yeah,
and I
these
can
are the
hear
cat.
the little
These
kitty
my
laugh.
kitty.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's
as
another
she's
like
going up with the potion in her
we
hand.
we quote this movie so often. Like, is that my voice? Say that
my
my
voice?
voice.
My voice.
Yeah. Oh man, I love it so much.
So, is there a moment like in your career as an animator or director or whatever where you just like had a oh my gosh, I can't believe this is my life moment? Where you
Yeah.
just like looked up and you're like, wow, like I
Maybe
can't
like
believe
I
get to
made
do this
it,
every
or
day.
this, just one of those surreal moments.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that we're talking about Yzma Kitty because I storyboarded that sequence on Emperor's New Groove. The big climax of the movie was split in half. My friend and eventual co-director on Winnie the Pooh and director of Big Hero 6 and
Oh,
Strange
wow.
World and Moana, Don Hall.
Yeah.
He did all of the stuff inside the palace where they're trying all the different potions to try
Oh,
to
yes.
turn Cusco back into the llama. And then I did all the stuff on the outside of the palace where they're running around the face of the palace. And Yzma turns into the kitty and
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the trampoline gag, all this stuff. And I remember we had boarded all of our stuff and we were going to pitch it for the first time to the director and the writer. And that's obviously back in the day when everything was on paper and push pins. And so we had all
Yeah.
all of our boards in one of the big story rooms, and it circled the entire room because it was
Wow.
a big sequence.
Oh yeah.
And I just remember the couple moments before they arrived, just kind of standing back and looking at the walls and all these boards going, wow, I feel like I can call myself a story artist. There was
Yeah.
something, because I remember growing up as a kid and looking in all the Disney books and seeing all those classic photos of like Walt and the other story artists in meetings with their storyboards hung up with their pitch sticks, pitching
Wow.
through stuff
Yeah.
and laughing and talking about, and it's like, here I'm just about to do that. And they did all this work. And for some reason, it just felt like kind of a
Yeah.
weird,
Like a wow. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
Like-
your
Oh,
out of body experience. You're like seeing yourself in the
Yeah.
room. Like, wow, I dreamed about doing this for so long.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
I'm like.
and I've
I'm
been in the
actually doing it.
department already for a few years, but for some reason that just kind of felt like, okay, today I feel like I'm
Yeah.
a story artist.
Yeah.
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 That is awesome.
That's
That's
amazing.
so
That's
cool.
perfect.
Speaking of Disney books.
Disney books, yes.
We should talk about Steve's book.
Yes,
Yay.
pretty fun era. Disney in between. Oh, I should pick it up.
Yeah.
Disney in between. It's amazing. The Lost Years, 1966 to 1986. So we've dug into a couple pages of this,
Yeah.
but do you have like any elements that you would want to talk about on the show from the book?
Yeah, well, just in general, it is a book, as you said, as you read the title. It takes place 1966 to 1986. So this is the post-Walt era,
Yeah.
all the way up through kind of the first couple years of the Eisner-Katzenberg
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
regime. And a period that oftentimes people refer to as the dark ages of Disney because after losing Walt, as we can all imagine, it was such a huge loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
well,
for
what do you
sure.
do next kind of moment.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
What do you do next? And so it was a period of the studio continually asking, what do we do next?
Yeah.
yeah.
Trying to figure out how do we move forward without him. And then eventually having to kind of redefine what a Disney movie is
Yeah.
in the time of the 80s with Lucas
Yeah.
and Spielberg and
Yeah.
Star Wars and Raiders and Jaws and E.T.
Yeah.
and all these,
Yeah.
and the big blockbuster era, Back to the
Iconic
Future.
movies.
All
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
films coming out that sort of changed what a a general audience
like
Hollywood blockbuster
Yeah.
movie was, which was always the domain of Disney. But
Yeah.
Disney wasn't doing that anymore, and the ones they
Right.
were doing, they just weren't
They weren't
It's
really
not
working.
sticking.
getting an audience.
Yeah.
So it was a huge time of transition for the company.
Yeah.
And as I was writing it, I researched it for a really long time, but I actually sat down and wrote it during the pandemic.
Oh, nice.
So
Great.
a time where we're all dealing with disruption
Yeah.
and transition and uncertainty. What is
Yeah.
going on? What is the world anymore?
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
like
And so-
were able to channel that into
Yeah.
this time where they
It's
were
like-
dealing with that as well.
That's
in a
what
different
this
way.
is about. And so in the context of Disney, they were going through that same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it just struck me as being, it's such a human thing. We always have
Yeah.
these times of disruption, culturally or just personally.
Yeah.
Society, in all manner,
Yeah.
there's some kind of disruption. We have to then deal with a new normal.
Yeah.
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 Old ways have disappeared.
Right.
Yeah.
New ways are on the horizon, but maybe they're not quite here yet. We
Right.
don't quite
Yeah.
know what they are yet. And we're in this time of in-betweenness.
Yeah.
I like it.
So I've fascinating time in Disney Studios history, but also I thought very relevant just to the human experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's something
100%.
everybody deals with,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
that is so awesome. And for the Walt Disney Company, without Walt Disney, it's like, are we even still a company, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
are we
do.
dissolved now, or
I know.
do we
Yep.
just keep rolling? It was an interesting time, and I think, just my own perspective, but
Yeah.
I think it was important that Roy was there because it was a clear, if Walt's not here, then we're going to look at Roy, and then he was able to be like, help them
Kind of
figure
just
out what was
fizzled
next.
out, right?
Yeah.
Like he was there.
He was
Or
able to
just at
finish some
least
of
a
Walt's
little bit.
projects,
Yeah.
I think that was important for the transition because without Roy, it would be like, well, now who do we look at, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Well, and I kind of knew this, but I didn't really think about it until I was writing the book. And also, I listened to an interview that Don Hahn had given.
Yeah.
Animation producer Don Hahn. And he described the company, because he started, I think, in like 74, somewhere in there.
Wow.
And so the company felt a lot like it was when Walt was there.
Yeah.
And he kind of described it as like a little mom and pop studio.
Yeah.
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 And I was like, yeah, you're right. It was not one of the big
No,
Warner
it-
Brothers or Paramount or Universal.
Yeah.
It was a family business. It
Yeah.
was two brothers who started a company, basically, who started a studio and
Yeah.
made all this amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And so, yes, for Roy to continue, it continued the family business aspect.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
even when Roy Sr. was not there anymore, Walt's son-in-law, Ron Miller, stepped in and ran the company as well. So it was
Wow.
still in the family.
Yeah.
The guy at the top was Walt's son-in-law.
Yeah.
And then
Still
it
a
wasn't
family
until
business.
the Eisner Katzenberg coming in, that was the first time that the studio was run by somebody who was from the outside.
Yeah. Someone
wasn't
like
nice.
didn't know him.
Either wasn't a
personally.
family member or wasn't a personal colleague of Walt's.
Wow.
And so that was also very much part of the. It was fascinating to me because I never really thought about it before, but
Yeah.
that is indicative of how it also part of the transition of
Yeah.
this was going from this little family business to
Like a corporation.
corporation.
Yeah.
To, the Walt Disney Company then
Yeah.
became. It was not called that before.
Yeah.
Well, and
So-
it's crazy to think about because Disney obviously had such a golden age with Walt, like with Mary Poppins and just some of the films that were just incredible. And then they obviously have hit their stride again in different moments. The
Well, and even
Little
they-
Mermaid, Sleeping Beauty,
Yep.
Lion King, or not Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Like right after the era that you're talking about, right? Like in between, they
And
just
then
had
even
to.
currently, Moana, Tangled, Frozen.
Oh yeah, they're in a new golden
they're in a
age
new
for
golden
sure.
age right now for
sure.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but I think it's interesting to talk about a period where they didn't quite know
Yeah.
what was going to
What their identity was, or if
Yeah.
they were going to
And
keep going.
Not to spoil the end of the book, but I can't wait to see how they pulled out of it. Right?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's why I think it's
Or did
super
they?
cool. Or
Maybe
did
they don't.
Maybe they don't.
Maybe they
kidding.
don't. They just stayed there.
Are they still there?
Are we living in an alternate reality?
Yes, we maybe.
Yeah, so definitely
Oh,
check
yeah.
out Disney in Between by Steve Anderson. It's super awesome. And yeah, such a huge in-depth guide. How many pages?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Probably
wow.
too many pages.
Yeah, like 450 pages almost.
It's long.
That's amazing. That's so
That's-
so cool. So definitely check this
And
out.
then you
Thank
did
you.
some illustration too, right? You had
Yeah, I never illustrated children's books before. And
Really?
in the last year or so, I've done two.
wow,
Uh,
congrats.
One is called The Boy Who Found His Smile.
Wow,
Aw.
look at that.
Written by my good friend Michelle Spitz, who was our screenwriter on Meet the Robinsons.
Oh wow.
Unfortunately, she passed away in January of this year.
Oh, I'm so
Sorry.
sorry.
Thankfully, we finished the book
Yeah.
several months ago. So
Yeah.
this was our. Oh, she also wrote on Monsters at Work season 1 with me
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
Okay,
So this was
yeah.
our final collaboration between Michelle and
Aw.
myself. So very special book.
That's
That
super
is-
And
special.
then this one is called Blue, written by Josh Armstrong.
Wow.
They're both available online on Amazon.
And you
That's
illustrated
amazing.
both of them.
I illustrated both of them.
That's
That's
so
awesome.
cool.
That's so
And,
That's
cool.
great.
Very proud of that.
Yeah, that is so cool.
You should be. That's amazing.
That
That's
is
so
really
cool.
exciting.
Thanks for letting me.
Yeah, you
No,
guys should
absolutely.
totally check those out.
You guys should totally
Um,
check all those out. That's
Oh,
so
yeah.
awesome. Thank you for sharing. That
Of
is
course,
so cool.
thank you.
I'm
How-
glad that project was able to come to life.
Yeah, how
yeah.
special
That's
to
so
like
special.
work with people you know, and be able to kind of just bring something to life outside of work, I guess, but obviously
Yeah.
still part of work.
Yeah, well, the last couple of years, I've kind of, as I'm thinking about life and what I'm doing and what I'm going to be doing going forward and what's
Yeah.
my future, I've come to this realization that the thing that I love to do the most is just I love storytelling. I love
Yeah.
telling stories,
I love it.
and so that's always taken the form of movies or maybe a TV series that I've worked
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
or a short or something like that. A film, something filmed, something projected on screen.
Right.
But now I'm starting to realize now there's other ways I can tell stories. I can illustrate children's books. I can write books of my own.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can. I made a live action short a couple years ago.
Nice.
You can
Like,
come
I
and
can
sit with
just-
us and tell your story.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can just exactly yes.
Yeah.
Doing something like this, doing something like your show. It's storytelling, and that's the thing I love to do. So. I'm trying to find any possible way I can just keep telling stories.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I love
That's
that.
so
It's
cool.
such a
I love that.
powerful thing, and it's what makes us all human. You know,
Yeah.
we all love
Yeah.
sharing
Yeah.
stories and
Yeah.
hearing stories and listening and finding different ways to tell a better story or make it funny
Yeah.
or make
Yeah.
it and
It's just
your style.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
drawing
Yeah.
people in and kind of being relatable in any moment. You know, you want to build characters that very quickly someone can see themselves in or see others in,
Yeah.
and then kind of watch those characters overcome things is very inspiring. And so,
Cool.
It's been
um,
really fun with our videos. We've been trying to incorporate more storytelling. It's been
Yeah.
such a blast.
Oh my gosh,
And
it's been so fun discovering that.
yeah, it
Yeah.
really has.
It's been really cool.
Yeah.
And you know how to tell a story at a basic level, but then when you start to like really study it and really like figure out how to tell an even better story,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
keep trying to elevate the story that you're telling, it's so fun.
Yeah,
And-
it's fun. There's like a dynamic between the three of us, and things obviously happen when we just turn on the camera and are hanging out doing something. But
Right.
then to kind of sit and we're like, what if there's like stakes and we have to do something
Uh-huh.
within a time limit, or we put ourselves in different situations? It's still authentically us. It's still natural, but there's like this story element.
There's
There's
this
things
story
we're
that we're telling.
overcoming, and
That's great.
it's so much fun. It's been really fun to kind of, when we're thinking about a YouTube video we make or anything, to go to a drawing board and think about stories is
I
has
know.
been really
And
cool.
actually,
That's
since
really cool.
our scrapped conversation with you, we did start doing, not to your level, but some basic storyboarding, right?
Yeah.
We're like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
well, what if we like.
It's mostly
at
stick
this
figures,
moment-
but it works.
Yeah, stick figures,
Yeah.
but it's
That's
a little
okay.
bit.
Yeah.
We started doing some of that as well, and it's been
Yeah.
prettle cool.
Oh
And-
wow! So really planning them out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just trying to
Yeah.
get more in depth in storytelling, and like Eric said, it's still us. We're not
Yeah.
pretending to be
It's-
somebody
Yeah.
else,
Sure.
but we just kind of have an idea of where we want the story to go. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
been
it.
it's been really
Yeah.
fun. It's
Yeah.
been a blast.
Great.
And some of our YouTube friends have it's been fun watching them learn that as well.
Mm.
And then
Yeah.
like you get to like
You
bounce
get to
ideas
see
off each
them
other, and you get to like
incorporate it.
you go like, oh, that's such a good story. Do like give them a high five, like you guys crushed that one.
Yeah.
Back and forth. So it's been fun.
That's
but
great.
there's storytelling. It's so important, and it's what connects people with each other.
I mean, we've
100%.
literally been doing it since before the written language.
And I know.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
That's so
Before they
true.
knew how to like
Yeah.
talk, you could like tell stories to each other. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a good
exactly.
point.
And connection is definitely the word that I always use. It's
Yeah.
you're connecting with people. I think that's why anybody who has the desire to tell stories, that's
Yeah.
what you want to do. You're trying to connect, even if it's just one person, even if it's just I'm having lunch with a friend and I'm sitting across the table and I'm just telling a story about my weekend or something.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a way to connect.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it gives people a sense of community, and I think it's fun with the internet and YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Anybody with a camera has the ability to be a storyteller
Yeah.
if they want
Yeah.
to be, right? And you can start putting things together and making entertaining videos or whatever, and it's been really fun just us doing this because we've gotten to build such a cool community and meet people
Yeah.
like you, and it's just been awesome. We've
Yeah.
we've loved it.
Love it.
Yeah, it's been a blast. Community building is pretty special, and we actually, Eric, do you want to tell them about our community a little bit?
Yes, so we love our community, and something we do that we kind of just we're doing live streams in pandemic, so that was kind of our thing. When you were writing your book, we were doing live streams and just asking people to like share their favorite memories or moments at a Disney park or watching a movie. We'd be like, "What are you watching this week?" We kind of came up with Choose Magic somehow. I really give credit to the audience because we
The
kind of
audience
came up with
really
a
did
couple
that.
phrases.
It started actually as Magic Makers, and so Magic Makers was a group where we would have.
One of the projects we did was we compiled care packages for Make-A-Wish kids who could no longer go on their
Disney Wish.
Disney Wish
yeah, their
trip.
wish their trip that was
And
granted
so
that got denied.
We had
or
people
changed.
sending us homemade ears, homemade cards.
We had an animation
Blankets.
school in Australia was
Yeah.
actually animating cards and then giving it to us, and then we would sign it for the kid and send it out to them.
that's so
with,
cool.
like different
Yeah.
characters on it. It was so awesome.
It was so cool.
And it was like this amazing way of like we're talking like this, right?
Yeah.
To a camera on them with microphones, and there was a live chat, but it was literally like people were there with us, and
Yeah.
then we got to like get physical proof of like a community that was like being
Yeah.
built. And
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
it was so like special. And then from that, as we carried on, and we don't do the live streams as much anymore, and we have things to do on Friday night now.
Everybody
so.
has things to do on Friday
It's
night
fine.
now.
Everybody
Everybody
has things to do on
does,
Friday
yeah.
night now. But we still have our Choose Magic, which is, we'll either.
It kind of came from that. The people, as the parks were reopening, we were kind of getting back to real life, as it were.
Yeah.
They were like, we still want that piece of magic. And we're like, well, it's pretty easy to choose magic in everyday life. And they're like, that's it. Put that on a t-shirt. And
Yeah. they
So we
say-
did.
They
Yeah.
did. So then Choose
Beautiful.
Magic was born. But it's just,
Yeah.
with storytelling and connection, and I don't know, it makes the world a better place.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like
So
in the
brings
real
people
world.
together.
Yeah.
And actually, I've told the story before, not on this episode, but we actually were at a D23, and a fan came up to us with bracelets and said, "Here, I made these for you," and they said "Choose Magic," like
Yeah,
that,
like
right
that
there.
one.
And
that's
yeah,
so cool.
I wear it every day ever since. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
Oh, wow.
it's
Yeah.
like little concrete piece of proof of
Yeah.
the connection and
connection.
community.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And I'm sure you've felt that with some of your movies where with people walk up and they're like, wow, I can't believe you did that, or
Yeah.
tell you stories
Yeah.
about how it resonated as well. So
Yeah, it's really, really super special.
yeah.
Just this past weekend, I was at a convention, anime convention in Columbus, Ohio.
Wow.
And this woman came up to me and started talking about Meet the Robinsons, and she pulled back her sleeve and she had Keep Moving Forward tattooed on kind of inside of her wrist.
Yeah.
And she said, it was written by it's in my grandmother's handwriting, who had passed
Wow.
away recently.
Oh my.
Wow.
And somehow she thought to have her grandmother write that, and she tattooed it onto her arm.
Wow.
And
That's
just
so-
little things like
That's
that.
so
you go,
sweet.
Yeah.
"Aw."
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
But
That is
again,
so
that's
sweet.
why we do what we do. What's all of us
Yeah.
is,
It really
is to
is.
connect.
I
And
have
I
to-
don't know that person, and if I hadn't come to this convention, I never would have met this woman.
Yeah.
But but
But you have this connection.
somehow over who knows how many millions of miles,
Yeah.
the movie hit her and it connected with her.
Yeah.
And it's great.
And that's such a powerful quote and moment. I love that movie. The
Yeah.
whole "Keep Moving Forward" mantra is just so special, and it's something Walt Disney said, right?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. There's kind of, yeah.
which is kind of cool as well.
Yeah, it was the reason it was in the movie was not because of Walt Disney.
Really?
We had it
Really?
ourselves on
Wow.
our own.
Wow.
But then, and I'm sure I had read that quote somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had just I hadn't remembered "Keep Moving Forward" as being part of it.
Yeah.
That was always our theme from the very beginning.
That is amazing.
And then partway somewhere towards the end of making the movie, I read the quote and I was like, "Oh my gosh, she said those 3 words! I can't believe it!"
Wow.
So
That's almost cooler.
yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that you didn't know as you were building it into the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then
it was
that's
just
how it
one of
was.
those like brain blowing kind of moments.
Yeah.
where,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Where it's
oh my
like
gosh, our whole movie's based on this, and he actually said those 3 words.
those 3
Yeah.
words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep moving forward. And how awesome that, I don't know, it just like connects you. It's like if you're curious if you're like on the right track with the movie, and then you look down
Yeah.
and Walt said it. You're like, oh yeah, we're making
like-
this is what we're
Yeah.
supposed to be making.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and we always talked about making a more. I always loved the optimism of the Disney future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Tomorrowland and Epcot, and just Walt was such an optimist as far as
Yeah.
where are we going to go as a culture, as a society, which I really loved. And we were making a movie about an optimistic future, so we certainly talked a lot about that
Yeah.
as we were building the film, and on our inspiration boards for art direction, I had a lot of images of Tomorrowland and
Yeah.
of Epcot, and also lots of World's Fairs and things like that. That whole optimistic future. So it was also a great confirmation of, we were kind of already. He was sort of a spiritual presence already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then seeing that quote was just sort of hit the whole thing home.
Yeah,
That's
that must
awesome.
have been amazing. Something that's so cool about Choose Magic now is we put it on a t-shirt, obviously, and the bracelets and everything, and the proceeds that we make from when we sell those goes towards a magic making project. So just kind of these different things that we've come up with.
The
where we-
Chalk Walk.
Children's
Orange
Hospital.
County.
Yeah,
Orange
right now
County.
we're selling it in support of the Children's Hospital of Orange County.
Yes, but we always do something. One time we brought a veteran to Disney, and that was pretty cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
100-year-old
just-
World War II veteran. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing.
That was an amazing
He
experience.
has an incredible story, and so being able to like sell merchandise that then we were able to then use the money to make something like that happen was very special.
Yeah,
so
very
Yeah.
special.
definitely check out Choose Magic and on the store. And something that's cool about that is like you don't always realize the impact you have, kind of like we talked about, and then kind of the way you had the girl with the tattoo is this guy came up to us and he's like, I saw that you were handing out gift cards, and one guy was in a hat that he was a veteran, and I'm a veteran myself, and it made me really happy to see that you did that. And he handed us, it was like the size of
Probably
this
the
table.
size of this table.
It was folded up, and it was a 1964 park map
Whoa.
that he got the day, like he got that day in 1964 because he
Yeah,
visited the parks then.
and it was like $1 or
Wow.
something. He walked in and bought it with $1, and he was so funny because he
He
walked up.
apologized for not giving us his 1955 version. And I'm like,
Like, this is
I
your
am
map,
so
dude.
touched that
Like,
you're giving me this one.
Yeah.
And 1964 is actually the year Mom was born, and it's
Uh-huh.
also the year something
Poppins
Mary
came
Poppins
out.
came
Mary
out.
Poppins came out.
It was actually, that's an important year in our
Yeah.
life, so he picked a good year for us. So, but anyway, I was like, you never know with the tattoo, you never know what kind of impact your work is going to have
Yeah.
on
And
somebody.
in kind of that little not really knowing world, that was also the final year Sam McKim drew the maps.
Oh,
yeah, it was
Yeah.
1964.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have one of the final Sam McKim maps.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was
Which
That
is,
was pretty
yeah.
special,
a
too.
whole nother
Incredible.
later story.
Wow.
We went to a Sam McKim memorial
Yeah,
event.
that was like earlier
Yeah.
this year.
And he's like map making from like the early days of Disney and ended in 64. We're like, that means it's our map. So then we
Yeah.
pulled it out again and showed them, and they're like, yeah. It was his two sons who put on the event, and they're like, yeah, that's Dad's work. Like he made these maps. And so yeah, just so many special moments that you don't even realize that come to fruition from
Life
these
is
cool
cool like
stories.
that.
Well, yeah, life is
Sometimes
cool like
Life
that.
is cool.
the story of life writes itself. Which
Yes,
is
it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Did you know that the producer of Meet the Robinsons is Sam McKim's daughter-in-law,
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah,
Dorothy McKim?
Yes.
And she was at that. She was at the event.
Yes.
Right.
I think she was. Now that you mention it, yes.
That's so
And her
fun.
husband is Brian, who.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
we
One of the
definitely
two.
met
We
Brian.
definitely met
We
Brian.
definitely
Yeah.
met Brian. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's
That is
so
so
cool.
cool.
Another
I didn't
little
realize.
connection.
I love how like those things work together. Where
Yeah.
she ended up working on. You said Meet the Robinsons.
She
and
produced
did a
Meet the
couple
Robinsons.
others too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
She
That's
just hit
amazing.
45 years with the company.
Whoa.
Last week,
Wow.
I think, or 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's
That is
incredible.
pretty cool.
Yep.
45 years is amazing.
Yeah.
And Dorothy, the name that comes to my mind is she was credited on Prep and Landing, right?
Yep. Yep.
Oh my
That's
god.
one of
We
our
watch
favorite-
those every year.
Yeah, we watch.
Sometimes in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
definitely multiple times a year.
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be Christmas for Prep and Landing to play. That's
Yeah.
it's such a cute story.
Yep. Yep. She was a producer of that, and the little the character in the movie
Tiny-
named McGee.
Oh, McGee.
That's Dorothy. That's a caricature
Oh.
of Dorothy.
I
That's
love
amazing.
The
that.
little hair, kind of like the hair bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
That's
is
Dorothy.
Now I know
That's
what she
great.
looks like.
Yeah.
That's so great. I love
Yeah.
McGee.
Oh,
know, she
yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Steals the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
I love
yeah.
those little like personal things that you guys put into your work. I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
so cool to like know where that comes from.
Yeah,
That's
knowing
so awesome.
Disney, like such a big company, so many big moments, and
But it's still so personal.
so personal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that you guys are working on like the coolest stories ever and have these personal ties to them.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's how we avoid boredom.
Yeah.
For all those years, just like start throwing in little random stuff.
Yeah. You're like, here, we're
Keep
gonna make this
ourselves
character look
entertained.
like you. We're just gonna draw it.
They're
Little
sitting in the
caricature.
room like this character.
This is what you would look
yeah.
like if you were an
If
elf.
you were an elf,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
inside
awesome.
jokes are like the best part of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, any
and
project.
to find them come through in animation is always so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And since we like obviously did a deep dive, since we knew we were having you on, you're obviously credited director in big roles, Winnie the Pooh and Meet the Robinsons. But you've also worked on, like you mentioned, the Frozen movies and Moana,
Tarzan.
Tarzan. So was that all like story artist, or what was your role in those movies?
Yeah, those were all movies that I storyboarded on.
Nice.
My first movie at Disney was Tarzan, so I started
nice.
as a storyboard artist.
Awesome.
Storyboarded on Groove and Brother Bear. Also was story supervisor on both those movies.
Oh, nice.
And then got into directing, but all those other films that you mentioned, Frozen 1 and 2, Bolt, Tangled, Moana, Zootopia, Ralph, Wreck-It Ralph 1.
Yeah. Wow.
Those were all...
Iconic movies.
Yeah, and great stuff. And those were all movies that I was asked to come on for, a couple months just to help out.
Yeah.
Because at the time of those films being in production, I was in development of my own, like developing my own new
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if you're director in development and you can board, they oftentimes pull you on the show just to help out.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like there's a big screening coming up, so we need all hands on deck. So we're going to
Yeah.
grab a ton of people, bring them on, and they'll work for a few months. And that's what most of those were.
Oh, cool.
So
I love that you still get credited for that though. 'Cause
it's very cool.
Yeah.
Because most, other than Ralph, nothing, all the other movies, the stuff that I boarded on was all cut because it was midstream.
Oh, right,
yeah.
right.
So none of it actually made it in. Ralph, they very kindly gave me the big scene at the end of the second act where Ralph breaks Vanellope's car.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Oh,
Which is
man.
such a juicy scene.
That
And
is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's
I
like
was-
climax of the movie kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
I was really proud to get to board that, and that's still in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a big
it
moment.
is.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
pretty
huge
awesome.
moment.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So for starting out as a failure, this was a pretty huge success.
Totally.
Yeah,
this
it was
was
fun.
This was so fun, and we got, I think, better stuff. Although
Yeah.
there's, I'm gonna miss some of
the
things
gems.
of the past.
Some of the
I don't know.
Some
moments.
of the moments of the past.
Maybe we'll throw them into a short sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What could have been.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Deleted scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
it is-
deleted scenes.
Exactly.
No,
that
but
is,
this
that's our
was
first
really
deleted
fun.
scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No,
There you
this was
go.
so fun though, and thank you so much for coming and
Of
sharing your
course.
stories with us.
Yeah.
It was just such a joy to have you on.
Yeah,
Thanks
we
for
had a
having
really
me.
amazing time.
Love
and-
talking with you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could talk a whole another hour. I'm sure.
I know. Yeah,
There's so
yeah.
much more.
I know.
Oh,
Just
man.
in pieces.
It
But
is.
thank you guys for joining and watching us. Hopefully, you kind of learned something, and if you didn't, well, not if you didn't.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, seriously. Were you
If
not
you
listening?
You weren't paying attention.
Hopefully you were at least entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't. You were on your phone. while you were
Yeah.
listening.
Focus. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I
I'm
gotta
kidding.
focus on the moment. No, but thank you guys so much for watching and listening and hanging out with us. It was a good time, and thank you, Steve, for coming
Thank you
back
so
again.
much.
Coming
Thank
back
you.
again.
Thank you, insiders.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a good time.
And we hope this has been totally awesome.
Yes, we know Steve was totally awesome, but we knew
Yes.
that coming into this.
We
so.
did.
We know that. We
Spoiler.
hope you learned that too.
Yes.
Or already knew that and relearned it.
Yes.
Awesome.
But be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And then if you want to get any of Steve's books, you can get those in the description right now.
Yeah,
And
check it out.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
down there. Or Choose Magic, that's down there as well.
Yes.
That is.
But thank you
Amazing.
guys so much for spending the time with us.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
That's totally awesome.